How was Chi-Town?
It was good. It was much needed. It was good. Explored the city a little bit with my niece. Got to catch up with my old college roommate.
Cool, man.
Lived it up, man.
There's so much to do out there,
It is. It's a ton. It's a ton of good places to eat.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
good pizza.
Yeah, we went to Giordano's, went to Portillo's.
Yes. All right.
You
So
know.
is it considered pizza though? What's your take? Is it actually pizza?
I, it's like lasagna, pretty much. That's a Chicago style pizza. Is literally just lasagna with
Basically,
some crust on it.
some hard ass
That's
crust around it, but it's so good, man. It's so we have so much in the NBA that we have not.
so much, and I want to make sure that we also talk about the Naomi Osaka thing too.
Yeah, definitely,
I
for
think
sure.
that'd be good to talk about. The NBA stuff is crazy. We
It's
start with the
popping
game
off,
tonight.
man. Yeah, bro. We got. I think that's starting in what? 1 minute, 15 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, about a minute or
Games,
two.
game six, right?
Yep, game
Are up.
six.
Mavericks are up one, and it's back in. It's in Dallas,
It's in
actually.
Dallas. Yeah, no, none of the home team has not won a game in
I was about
anything
to
in the
say,
series.
yeah, that's not necessarily a good thing for Dallas. They play so bad at home, man. It's crazy. I
They
don't.
do well. I think what it also too. Those first two games, they were shooting like ridiculous percentage. They
Yeah,
were shooting like 60% from the 3-point line.
yeah. Like Tim
Like,
Hardaway looked like a fucking superstar. That was crazy.
man, and it's like at some point they had to regress back to the norm, right? Like they had to fall back, and that's what happened. I think those next two games. But outside of like game four, these games have been very close. They've just been back and forth. It's really just who can cut down on their turnovers near the end of the game. That's really won these who's won these games. So I think this is going to be the series that out of the first rounds that goes game seven. I think LA will pull it off tonight, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, nobody has won a home game yet. So
Exactly. Yeah, anything can happen in game seven. I'm with you though. I want Dallas, but like I just it's really hard for me to see like man, if they took them out in six, that'd be pretty crazy. That would
it would be,
I'm not
it
seeing
would
it.
be,
I
and
think
especially when Porzingis hasn't been playing that well either.
man, like and it's almost just sad when they paired those two together, especially that second year, like in the emergence of Luca, it was like, man, this could be like kind of like
Nice.
how we were seeing like LeBron and AD, like two top five players. Like I seriously thought Porzingis was going to be like a top six, top five player in the league, and he just has not. Like he has all the intangibles, but it's just like I don't know, he just has not panned out. I don't know if it's injury
Yeah,
or what
yeah,
it is, but
yeah. So I think part of it is just I think it was injury, um, and I don't know if he's just like because I think he got injured later on in the season. I don't know if he's completely healed. He almost kind of reminds me of AD. He just don't have like that. AD kind of I think has lived a little bit more into his potential than Porzingis has, but they're
mhm,
just both very injury prone.
they are, man. But it's just so crazy because Porzingis is so skilled. This might sound blasphemous, but like there's times I watch Porzingis pull from three, and I'm like, bro, he's like more talented than Embiid, bro. Just like his like the way he moves, it's crazy. He's so guard like at that size. It's fucking nuts, man. Like I
Yeah,
think him and Embiid and Joker are like the top skilled centers. But it's just like if he could, like you just said, stay more consistent and like get out of that injury funk, man, he'd be a
yeah.
problem. But
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I would go as far as him saying being as talented as Embiid. I think Porzingis lacks that post game that Embiid has, but just that skill, like you said, those guard like skills.
mhm,
Um, he you see it there, and I think he's a bit better defensively, honestly, especially with blocking shots and how long he is.
I agree.
Um, but it's been sad. But I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. has kind of been like
He's been
just
the X factor.
he's been like that second man for Luca in these series. Like it's really been like the games that they win, Hardaway has about like 25, and the
Yeah,
games
and
that he don't, he may have like 14 and 16.
who's that guard? He's been nice for them too. He's smaller. I'm trying to remember his name.
You talking about Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, man, he's nice. I like
He's
him.
yeah, off the bench, he's nice. Yeah, he is. He is really
Hmm.
nice.
Man, yeah, the Clippers. it's crazy how feared they were last year and how I think they were probably the favorites to win it all. And like now this year, it's just like that aura about them is gone. Like it's
it is gone. And the thing is that like it's not like Kawhi and PG playing nice. Like they're having good games, but it's just you need those other people to have like Reggie Jackson. I think has had a pretty decent series. You know who I'm surprised they're not playing more is Zubac though.
They need it.
Like
I mean, they need that size.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not playing him, and I think they're just not playing him because he's going to get exposed by Luka in the pick and roll. But I think you just need that. You need that size, somebody that can, bang with Bobby and Porzingis. Like you need somebody that can bang with them.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. It's just, and I know like he already has emerged, but man, like if Luka has not emerged, bro, like he is like right there, like a top 5 player to me now. Like the dude is just so, oh man, like you watch him and I say it every time I analyze his game, but like just the lack of speed and how he just plays at his own pace, but still people have such trouble like timing his drives and timing his Euro steps and like when he's gonna, actually go up with the shot. Like it's nuts.
It's not. You know what I've been loving about this playoffs is the true emergence of those next generation of players that are going to take over. Like that's what I've loved. You know what I mean? Trae Young has just like he's been waiting on this. Booker has just been like we've talked about it. Like people need to see Book in his element and know that he can do this. And we're getting to see that. Donovan Mitchell, we got that last year, but now like. Ja Morant just going like it's just been really good to kind of see this next wave of talent come in and almost I feel like they're kind of stating like, look, we can carry this. Like I know Brian gonna be leaving, KD gonna be leaving, but we can carry this. Like we in good. The NBA's in good hands, and I love seeing that.
I do too, man. It's nuts. Before we move on to the next one, though, what you got to give me a prediction if like you think Clips are gonna hold on tonight. What's the series gonna be like after 7?
Yeah, so I think Clips hold on tonight, and I mean we talked about. I feel like the Clippers are going to go to the finals and meet the Nets, so I feel like I got to stick with my pick, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that logic. It's just a momentum thing for me. I feel like Dallas is going to win this. I hope they do. Like I want Dallas to, but after they blew those 2 at home, it's like up in the air for me. Like it's like, oh man, they had such a, and I knew they were going to blow 1. I was like. Let's just get 1, and then you'll be up 3-1. And like, sure as shit, they fucking gave both of them back, and I was so angry. But
so and I think because and not to mention like you get this rematch, but I feel like you want that rematch back for the Clippers with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, wait, no, they wouldn't play the Nuggets. I'm sorry, they would play the Jazz.
That is true.
Play the Jazz. They would play the Jazz. So, but.
It's just it's more prevalent than ever to me. And like I've heard talk show, radio, sports, TV say it for like 2 years with them now, but it's so true. Like I finally actually like came around to it. Like they just at the end of the games, the Clippers do not have like a leader to decide like what's going to happen. It seems like they just don't know in the clutch. Like maybe not in the clutch. Like obviously he's going to go to PG or Kawhi, but like they don't have like Kawhi's just not a leader, man. Like he's just not. It's crazy.
Kawhi's not a true playmaker. Like, and what I mean by that is like he can get his, but Kawhi can't do what Luka does, where he's making a play and it's either gonna get his or it's gonna get it for somebody else. That somebody else, like getting a play and making that play for somebody else, is what Kawhi lacks.
Yep.
And I think PG in certain times, PG just gets a little too timid. He gets too happy with wanting to shoot his jumper, rather than like really attacking a basket and stuff like that. So you're right. Like I think they both struggle, but I think they just struggle in different ways. But you would think it would be Kawhi, but he just struggles to make plays for other people.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree with you on Paul George 100% too. It's crazy because like he's a talented driver of the basketball too. It seems like he just settles. So it's very odd. And he has a great handle. It's weird. Like it's like
PG has a whole tool, but it's just like he gets so caught up in wanting to shoot a jumper, which is a nice jumper, and he had really good shooting percentages.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, you're nice going to the basket. Get there.
both hands. He's strong. He's got a great first step off the jab.
And you see that move he put on Porzingis, like where he dropped him and then went and dunked. Like you got that in your package. Yep. Why are you not doing that? Because that was he dropped Porzingis.
Yeah, he did, man. It's gonna be crazy. Like either way, I'm excited. After this, I'm gonna head over to a little Mexican cantina down the street and go watch the second half of this. Yeah, it'll be funny as we're rapping today. We can look at the score and kind of see what's going on.
Right, what's going on?
Yeah. But, let's address the elephant in the room, man. LeBron's first round exit of his career in 18 seasons. Bro. That is.
I was watching the IG, like an IG social, like, and this dude, like, he does these skits and everything. And you kind of imagine like how LeBron would act if he in the locker room. Like, Dennis, what the fuck were you doing? You had 4 points at halftime. like, AD, can you not be injured today?
Yep.
Like they said he had 8 injuries this season alone.
Wouldn't doubt it. But I can't take it off of, and it's an injury-riddled season, and obviously they were firing on all cylinders to start. They were the first seed, like they were playing great. So, but I'm not going to do excuses, and it's just like maybe he'll heal up and be better next year. But like I've been saying it for a while, man. I don't think Bron has it anymore. I don't think he has since 2018 that ability to like, okay, we're down 3-2. I got to drop 45.
I can put 11, it on my shoulder.
Yep, it's gone. I seriously believe that.
You're right. He doesn't have that to where he can put up those. Like, you remember those numbers where he was putting up against the Warriors, I think that year when they came back, and he was putting up like 48, 12, and 15.
Dude, crazy, man. Like, that's the thing. Or even his last year in Cleveland when they were down 3-2 against the Celtics, and he had those 2 games where he just had like 46, 30. Like, it's just like he can't do that anymore, man. He's it's gone.
Not to mention that ankle is not completely not completely healed. You know what I mean? So even that, and you know what really surprised me though, the last couple of games, and I'm not sure why they didn't do it, was why the hell wasn't Drummond on the like, why are you playing Marc Gasol?
Yeah.
What is he providing to you that so good that you wouldn't play Drummond? Like, Drummond actually plays really well against Ayton. Those couple of games, like, Drummond was playing really well. He can rebound. He's a big body that he can match up. And
yeah, I get what you're saying, man. It's tough because I agree. Like, it's like a styles make fights type thing. And in that matchup, it seems like Drummond was actually doing well. But then there's other times I look at Drummond, I'm like, bro, like, oh, you have such good, what's the word, like natural ability, but you're so bad at the game of basketball, bro.
He's still. You ever look at him and he kind of just reminds you of a baby?
Yeah,
where, like he don't know how big or how strong he is. He just don't know. Like, that's what he reminds me.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I don't understand why. And we talked about a couple podcasts, like actually a while back, a couple months ago. But you said, like, because I brought up Hakeem and you said like Shaq, and it's the truth. It's like, why don't you call these dudes in the off season and work with them every day? And like, because it's like you just said, it's almost like he's lost. Like, he doesn't know who he is as a basketball player. Like, he doesn't understand really. Body. Yeah, he doesn't get it.
He's not used to his body and how it moves.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's also like, it just reminds you of a baby. Like, dude.
I don't know. It's crazy, but we can't take away from Devin Booker, like you said, man. He emerged. Like, he just showed everyone who he is.
And you like, even though the Lakers lost, but you almost kind of wanted this to happen for Book, right? Like, because you want to see more. You want to see, like, okay, well, can you take, now you got to play the Nuggets.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
And now you got to go up against the MVP.
I'm looking for game 1 tickets this Monday. I'm trying to.
Oh, were you? That's what's up. Hey.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Was it Candlestick? Is it Candlestick? Is
Talking
that the name
Stick.
of it?
Yeah,
Talking Stick. Okay. Like, that would be like, but now you got to go up against the MVP. You know what I mean? Like, what you going to show? And, like, you really going to need it because Chris Paul, you know, who knows what's going to happen with his shoulder. Like, now you got to show what you can do now. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that was annoying at the beginning of the series when, like, Lakers went up 2-1 and everyone was like, well, Chris Paul. I was like, I love Chris Paul, but did we expect anything less for him to get injured in the playoffs? It happens every single year, bro. Like, and it's not a knock on him. It's just, like, kind of reality.
Yeah, but like the accident was kind of freaked though, because he was going up and somebody pulled on his arm.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
So like it wasn't like a hamstring thing or anything. Like that was literally just in a battle. You know what I mean? But like, can we give some shout out to Cam Payne? Like Cameron Payne stepped
He was a
in
dog.
and was balling and filled in for CP like really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. And he was hitting his open threes. He was driving, drawing fouls, man. He played good D. The Suns just looked like they wanted it more, man. The Lakers just looked like they didn't know who they were. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they locked it. Like, how the fuck does Dennis Schroeder game 5 you score 0 points?
Right? Exactly. I totally
agree. Like, what did we bring you? Like, if I'm Brown, like, bro, what did we bring you here for?
Yep. Exactly.
And you gonna do this?
Yeah,
so the question is how many other people that's on the team not gonna be back next year?
That's exactly what I wanted to get to, man. And I wanted to talk about that with Portland too. We'll assess that situation, in a sec. Yeah. But like, there's so much that's like, what now? Because I am completely a believer in AD as far as talent, but I am out on AD as far as like, I don't trust that he's gonna be there for my team. So it's like, he can't, obviously he's there, he's got the extension, but like, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me. Like, that's not enough. Brown and AD clearly is not going to be enough. They're going to need something else. And like, who are they going to bring? Like, who?
They have to improve their shooting.
Yep.
Like, KCP can't be your best 3-point shooter.
Exactly, man.
Right? Like, you got to get that figured out. They need shooting. They need reliable guard, like a true like reliable point guard. And they got to figure out their center play. Like, don't get me wrong, Drummond is nice, but I don't know if he fits really well with what they do. I don't know if he fits in that scheme. They need guys that are solid defenders and lob guys. Like, that's why Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee worked out so well for them, because they're defenders and they're lob guys, and they're just going to play their role. And Drummond is not that really good of a lob threat. His verticality is a little bit questionable.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but they have a lot to figure out.
They do, man. I agree with what you said, though. It was the same thing for them last year, even though they ended up winning the championship. The shooting, like, it's like you need that's what Bron thrives off of, is being able to kick the ball to shooters in the corner. You know what I mean? Oh, it's probably not. There's no way. I don't think it can happen. I don't know what contracts are looking like, but I'm just always like, because I've heard them just glowingly heap praise on each other. Can you imagine if like Dame and LeBron were able to get together, man? Like, that would be the most.
Did you see that Instagram post Dame put out yesterday?
No, what'd he say?
Bro, hold on. I was like, stop playing with me. Hold on, where is it at? He said, so it said, how long should I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meets preparation? At Nipsey Hussle.
Let's break that down, man, because the series, they lost in what, 6? Was it 6 they lost in?
6
last night.
Blew that 55 masterpiece. Blew it.
It's I don't. This is what I'm talking about with like the old heads that like aren't into superstars demanding trades or leaving and stuff like that and taking it into their own hands. This is the best argument I could give is Dame Lillard. Like, I mean, like, how much more can he give? How much more can he do? And it's just not be enough. Like, this man deserves deep playoff runs. Like, I don't say anyone deserves a championship, but like, this dude deserves to be on a team that's like, you look at every year and go, okay, they're ready to, win a championship. And it's just every year, Trailblazers come up short, man. They come up short.
Yeah, they do. And we talked about this. They have to break up CJ and Dame. Yeah. Like, they're too small and they're too offensive oriented. He needs to find somebody that can balance him on a defensive end but still get their points. That's why I kind of made that. When we talked last about maybe Jaylen Brown, swapping out Jaylen Brown for CJ with Boston and maybe figuring out something like that. But Stephen A. Smith talked about this on First Take today, where he's like, Dame is not that type of person where he's gonna go and meet up with somebody else. Like, he's not into. He said he's like, I wholeheartedly believe Dame is not gonna go play with LeBron. One, probably the money is not there, but then 2, that's not Dame.
See, I agree with that, but then you read that, and it's like, that's crazy, man. I don't know what that means.
But he mentioned some other teams that I was like, damn, that could be interesting. The one that was the most interesting was Miami. They have the money, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You put Dame with Jimmy and with Bam,
Bam, that'd be nice. Yeah, that would be
that's a
crazy.
nice ass trio. You know they got defenders like
More shooters too with Duncan Robinson and Harrow, and yeah,
in
it's
Hero and like that. That would be a dog ass thing. And then plus, like we have talked about this. Dame needs a bigger market,
he does definitely. I
right? And Miami would give him that market. You know what I mean? That he would be back, in contention to, compete for like a championship. They just need a couple more little pieces. Like I wouldn't mind seeing that. The other was that were the Knicks, which I don't want to see him. I'm sorry, but like you put him on the Knicks and you like your running mate is Julius Randle. Like, don't get me wrong, Randle had a crazy year, but he got exposed with that Hawks. He couldn't go right, bro.
We got to go there too, man. We got to go there too, bro. That was so, and I'm a Julius Randle fan. That was just sad, man. I was like, come on, man. What the hell is? I don't want to be like a Skip Bayless and just shit on someone after they like lose, but like you had that amazing season, and then like that's all. Like he produced nothing, man. Like three games in, I was like, when is he gonna show up? And he never did.
He literally, I think, what was he shooting? Wasn't he shooting like 29%
from the horrible, bro.
That was this field goal percentage was 29%, bro. Yep. Like he couldn't go right. Jumpers was just off. Like he was getting shut. Like Derrick Rose was the best player. Was their best player? Derrick Rose is 32, 33 years old.
Yeah,
bro.
Man.
Like Derrick Rose shouldn't be out here playing 40 minutes a game, but he has to just so y'all can compete.
Exactly. And it's like after 2 games when I think it was split after 2. And that was the argument. It was like, well, I'm not worried about the Knicks because Julius Randle hasn't even emerged in the series yet. And like, they're like playing him close. And then he just never showed up.
Yeah. It was like, but him and Barrett. RJ Barrett don't get to escape out of this either. Barrett, like they both have to develop a right hand, and they both need to work on their jump shots, bro.
Yep, definitely, man. Barrett's young; he's younger than Julius Randle, so I give him a little time. But like I agree with you, like he compared to what he was doing in the regular season, these young cats got to know, man. The playoffs is a different game.
It's like completely, and you would think because RJ was, or not RJ, but Julius was getting busy on the Hawks during the regular season. He was averaging like 32 a game against the Hawks during the regular season. But then the playoffs come and they shut that down.
Well, you got to realize, and I think like a good example of this was Giannis in past years. Like what you do in the regular season, you have to understand this team seeing you one night that week. They're not like, obviously they're scheming for you, but they're not like, this is a 7-game series. Like this is like more strategy involved, like how their defensive schemes are drawn up, what they're going to let you do and not do. Like Giannis the last couple of years, it's like we're not going to let you just drive and dunk on everyone every time down.
Yeah.
Like and then he gets geared up on in the playoffs and he gets exposed. Like and that's kind of the same thing that happened to the Knicks here. With Giannis though, it's going to be interesting to see this year because this series is coming up with Brooklyn, man. That's probably – I feel like this is the championship. This is like the finals to me. Like I think whoever wins this
Yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait. But I want to get back to going back to Portland. So, like, what do you think – and so if Dame doesn't go nowhere and somebody comes to Portland, who do you – like, what do you want to see there?
I mean, I do agree with you that pairing needs to split up, and it's mainly just because of the games don't match. CJ is their off guard, and he can shoot the 3 great, but he prefers to have the ball in his hand, take dribbles, and shoot in the mid range. That's his game.
Right.
That's what he likes to do.
Right. Yeah.
CJ is basically a point guard, to be honest with you. Like if I was a team trading for him, I would put him as my point guard because that's what he does. He likes the ball in his hand. Like I said, he can shoot in the mid range. He's Dame would be suited to have an off guard that could really just catch and shoot that 3 and let Dame, do his work. Or that doesn't have to be a second star, obviously, the 2 guard. I think he'd be more suited to have like a 3 guard or, like a small forward that's like his running mate. That's why I think LeBron's so intriguing. That's not going to happen. I don't really think it would. But like he needs like an athletic wing player that's going to, do work in the paint, and let Dame just control the offense. So I liked what you were saying before, man. It'd be crazy to see him paired with like a athletic player like a Jaylen Brown or,
What about Brandon Ingram?
Yeah, man, that's intriguing. I mean, Ingram had a really good season this year. It's tough. My jury is not back on Ingram yet. I don't really know. He's great. He's he averages a lot of points. It's just really hard, and it's kind of that Julius Randle thing, same thing over again. I just don't know what is he made of when it really matters. And Dame doesn't have time at this point to be messing around with a young player that doesn't have any playoff experience.
What my thought process was is you slide Norman Powell to the 2, who's a tough defender who can hit threes, but then you put Ingram out there, who's another guy that can get his own, but he, like you said, he's a guy that can kind of catch and shoot, or he can get his own when Dame's not out there, and it gives him a little bit more of a defensive presence because Bi is really long and he can play defense.
Yep.
And it just makes him a little bit. I think it makes him a little bit more versatile. That's why I was thinking that.
Yeah. I mean, I like Brandon Ingram a lot. Again, it's just what I just said. I don't know what he's made of in the playoffs, and I think at this point it's interesting because, like you said, Stephen A. hit it on the nose. I don't see Dame being a guy that's going to run and join another star, but I don't think he has time to rebuild either. Like, I think he needs to be in a situation where it's like it's go time. So
his win now, yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I just Dame's one of my favorite players, probably top 2, him and Luka, and it's sad. Like I want to see him. I want to see him in the big moments, man. Like, that's like
because he's so like them shots that second overtime shot that he hit.
Yep, fucking crazy, bro.
Like it's insane.
He's hit some of the most clutch shots I've ever seen. Like,
easily,
yeah.
And they all been in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Rockets game winner, the Oklahoma City game winner. That's the most clutch shot I've ever seen, honestly. That one on Paul George, and then just maybe it was just because he waved goodbye afterwards. But I was like, bro, that's the most badass shit I have ever seen in my entire life, bro. Like,
and then the shit that happens afterwards with it, where he like PG talk about it's a bad shot or whatever.
Yeah, fuck off,
like,
PG.
Come on, bro. That part.
And he was saying like, what did he say? Like they were celebrating after one win, and he's like, okay, well we're out here trying to win 4 games, so here we are.
That part,
man.
So, but yeah, So to what you were saying about that Knicks and Bucks, like I don't see a team out of the West outside of maybe the Clippers if they get there that can really push the Nets better than the Bucks can.
Exactly. This is the finals to me, bro. That's just that simple.
Giannis is probably the only player in the league that can truly match up with KD and give KD a little bit of a fit on a defensive end where like KD's going to really have to work to get his shots
because of his length and his strength and his athleticism.
Yeah, like he can really get into KD. That's probably about the only player that can really do that.
And Drew Holiday can kind of do that with Kyrie or Harden, man. They kind of slow him down a little bit, So.
Yeah. So, but I think the X factor in that whole entire series, I think is James Harden, right? Because he didn't play those games. He didn't play any of the games against the Bucks or whatever, and those games were pretty tight without having James there. So I think he's really the X factor. Well, I will be interested to see like if they play DeAndre Jordan this series to kind of have him match up with Giannis because he ain't play at all last series.
Yep, it's gonna be. It will be interesting, and it's going to take like a Herculean effort from the Bucks, because, like you said, Harden wasn't there, and those were 2 dog-ass games that last week of the season when they were. Bucks won both, and I think whoever comes out of this, it will be my favorite to win. But I got Nets in 6. Like I just don't see. It's just so hard for me to look at that team and be like anyone can actually really. I think this is their hardest challenge, and from here, it's smooth sailing. That's because
Embiid with this meniscus,
right? But Embiid and Simmons, Simmons not so much this season, but both of them in general. Like I just don't trust that anything could happen on any given night where they tweak something and get hurt. So I don't know. It's KD's been on this stage. He's won 2. Kyrie's one of the most clutch players I've ever seen. And then I look at Harden, and it's like he's just so freed up to do whatever he wants to do. It's, oh, man. The real debate is like what was better, the Golden State team or this KD Brooklyn team? Because like you just look at him, and it's just
that's a dog-ass question, man.
Yeah.
It's
hard.
It is hard. Right now, I would say that Golden State team because the way that they were with Steph and Clay and the way that they were able to space the floor, especially when you put in like Iguodala in it like that, like what are you supposed to do, right? Like
Exactly.
you got deadly shooters
Yep.
that you double down on KD wherever that double is coming from. Either Steph or Clay is getting the ball, and that's your ass.
Exactly,
like,
bro. And like it's the defense that they played, and their ball
right.
movement was so supreme. Like it was the same team. They just substituted Harrison Barnes for Kevin Durant, and it was like oh man, it was crazy.
So I would, yeah, but I think it's what makes this next team is just you got this playmaking. These individual playmakers like KD, Kyrie, they're all playmakers that I don't necessarily know Golden State has. That's what makes them so dangerous is because you can throw any of them the ball and they can go and get one. You couldn't really do that with Golden State because we don't think Clay's not really that type of guy. That's not his game, right? And that's why I think that's what kind of changes it. But I still think that Golden State dynamic is just so much danger because we understand how much shooting means, especially in this era of the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what so I think Gold State was the all-time like greatest team, but like Brooklyn, this might be the greatest semblance of just all-time greatest individual talent. Like it's like you just said, you got 3 guys that can go get you 60. Like that's
easily.
Holy shit, man! It's crazy.
Easily.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
So what about this Embiid, the Sixers situation? Like, how do you think that's gonna go with
What's
them?
going on with them right now? Did they finish the series or are they still?
Yeah, so they won. They finished that series. They won 4-1, and they have the Hawks next. And Embiid is like day to day. They said he has a small tear in his meniscus, so really he would just have to monitor like that swelling and the pain and everything. So he's able to play.
To be honest, like I would really baby Embiid if I'm that front office. Like I'm not sure the Hawks can beat them without Embiid. To be honest with you, like it's very hard for me. And let me say I really respect Trae Young, and I didn't know how much of a dog of a trash talker this dude was, man. Like that dude.
I love that shit too.
Oh man, like he's just hit that shot and the crowd's silent. He's like, everyone's fucking quiet now. Yeah, that was so awesome, bro. That dude's a dog. But I don't know. I don't think they have the size nor they're just so young. It's just hard for me to say that they mean,
they got Capella's nice. He's not like where you can throw the ball into him or whatever. But I feel like from a rebound and defensive standpoint, he's nice. Lobs. Nobody can really kind of match up with Embiid, just with his size and his skill. But they got some talent. I just think that you're right. I think even without Embiid, the Sixers have the depth and the talent to beat the Hawks.
Right. And they can't match Trae Young shooting individually, but like they got good shooters as far as bringing on Seth Curry, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So it's like
they got Maxey,
yep.
They got Corkman, like they got. And then if you need to go and you need to shut down, you need someone to kind of put some clamps on Trae. You got this tool. They got 2 of them, by the way. They got Ben Simmons and they got Thibault that they can throw at Trae to put someone that got size and the speed to kind of contain Trae.
Exactly.
So I think, like you said, I don't know if they really need to play Embiid much.
Oh yeah, I would at least not play him game 1. I mean, if he's ready to go when he's fully healthy for sure, but I don't think you need to, run him game 1, just see how it plays out. I think Ben Simmons is the defensive player of the year. He played phenomenal D all year, and he can D up 1 through 5. So they're a great defensive team. It's going to be interesting to see if they don't play Embiid, how it works out. But I think if Embiid's healthy or whenever he gets out there, especially if you're saying it's day-to-day, I don't think they're going to really push the Sixers that much. The Sixers just need to worry about what's coming next. That sounds bad. They have to worry about what's in front of them. You can't, mentally be, but, I think if everything goes right, it's the Sixers series to lose. That's the way I look at it.
For sure. I mean, they have the right talent there. And it's enough talent, even without Embiid, to beat the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said. So and that it's just that next series because whoever it is, whether it's the Nets, which we both kind of highly believe that that's going to be the case, but if it's the Knicks or the Bucks, that's a lot to deal with either way.
For sure, man. Wait, so after that series, whoever wins that, would they play the winner of the Bucks Nets? Is that how that would work?
Yeah, yep. So that's what I was mentioning. Yeah, so
that's
a lot to handle, and without having a healthy Embiid, like
that's my thing. That's why I think that the Bucks Nets is basically the finals, just because we don't know what Embiid, what's going on with them. So
yeah, it's a tough go. It really is a tough go. So what are your thoughts about this matchup with the Nuggets and the Suns?
What's crazy about the Nuggets is how well oiled they've played without Murray. Like, they just continue to trudge along, and it's like the emergence of, was it Michael Porter Jr.?
Michael Porter Jr.
Yep,
PJ.
he is just
balling, bro.
Yeah, man.
Balling.
I think
6 threes in that first quarter.
Yep, he's a beast. And then Eric Gordon gives him just enough like athleticism, Eric Gordon was not doing much over in Orlando. Obviously, there was nothing really going on in Orlando, but he's a great piece for the Nuggets, being that he's so athletic, and you can't just ignore him.
He fills in. So remember they had Jeremy Grant last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So he kind of feels that Aaron Gordon kind of feels like that Jeremy Grant role where he can get you some offense if needed, but really he's out there for his defense, right? Because of his ability. So he's kind of like their version of a Ben Simmons, where it's his ability to kind of, guard all these positions, which makes him kind of deadly. So, but I mean, you can't underestimate that emergence, like you said, of Michael Porter Jr. Like, he's come on strong and been balling. Monte Morris, shout out to Saginaw. Like, he has been balling. Like, he can't come off the bench. Marcus Howard, Austin Rivers.
I was about to say, all of their role players are just hitting shots. They're playing good D.
Bro, Austin Rivers was out of the league. Remember, he was sitting down. He was just sitting in his couch.
Yeah.
Because he got dropped off. He got dropped by the Knicks, and the Nuggets signed it to a 10-day contract. He was just sitting on his couch, bro, and then all of a sudden he's hitting clutch shots in games.
It's crazy,
to
man.
win series and shit like that. Hold on, wait, and we got to talk about the fact. Did you see his reaction to when Dame finally missed the three?
No, what did he do? So
that game when Dame dropped the 12 threes, Dame finally missed when he turned around and was like, thank God.
I mean, Dame was hitting shots in that game that were I've never
insane.
It's just one of those things where it's like you've got the shooter's touch that day, and the gods are like, you're making everything, because that was wild, man.
Yeah, that was so. But so, who do you give me your prediction on the Nuggets
on the series?
And the Suns?
I feel like the Suns are just too young. Chris Paul brought some experience there, but like you said, we don't know, and I don't know in a 7-game series ever if Chris Paul can be 100%. I'm gonna have to go Nuggets in 6, bro. I don't think that the Suns are there if they're not ready.
I'm gonna go Nuggets in 5.
Ooh, okay.
Ayton has no answer. The Suns have no answer for Jokic.
No, definitely not. No, they haven't seen anything like Jokic, and no one's seen anything like Jokic, man. How do you scheme for that guy?
And so it's once Ayton gets in trouble, who do you bring in? Dario Saric?
Yeah, exactly.
Frank Kaminsky?
Right.
They are going to get destroyed, right? Yep. And then you probably put Jay Crowder on Michael Porter Jr. and everything, but they just, like you said, the Nuggets are really deep, and Will Barton may be coming back soon.
I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, so he may be coming back soon. So the Suns, I don't think they just have it. I think Booker's going to get off.
Definitely,
Booker's going to ball. He's going to ball, but Jokic, I think just is it. I know he's the MVP and everything, and he's the best player, but he truly is the X factor. Because that Nuggets team is going to go as he goes.
Exactly, right? Because it's they don't have a Jamal Murray to drop 50 for him this time. It's Jokic or nothing for them, regardless of how good Michael Porter Jr. is playing, and he's playing great. He can play as great as he will, and if Jokic isn't there or not playing great, it's over. Like I said, I don't know how you would even scheme for this dude that can play straight up center, but then also the next play down, he's bringing the ball up the court. Like Jokic is the just most versatile center I've ever seen. It's crazy.
And the thing is that it's not really his scoring; it's his passing.
Yep, out of the post.
Yeah, that's the true X factor. Is he's gonna score? He's gonna probably average about 32 that series.
Yeah,
but if they can maybe limit him to maybe like 6 assists and him not getting like an 11 assist, then they can maybe make the series more competitive. I just don't think that is gonna happen.
Right. Yep.
I just don't know if the Suns have a solid enough defense to where they're going to be stopping these guys from stopping him from getting his assist and getting threes.
So do you think then that the strategy would be let Jokic get his and just like we have to D up on everyone else and make sure they're not hitting shots? Or is it like we have to focus on Jokic and like if other people beat us, they beat us?
I would let Jokic go crazy. Like, have those numbers, put them up, and everybody else, if y'all make shots, these are going to be contested shots, and let me see you hit a contested shot. Like, I'd rather that.
I agree with you because, like, if you do it the other way and you're, like, gearing up on Jokic is still going to get his. Like, even if you're really going for him and drawing doubles, he's going to get you 20 to 25, and then he's going to get it to the open shooters. So it's like, I totally agree with you there. Like, I'd let Jokic get his 30 and make everyone else really work for their points and just see how the chips fall. I don't know. I think they're outmatched. But if Booker plays great and he's averaging 30 for the series and Chris Paul can, you know, fight off that injury and, like, give them a good, like, 20 and 10, like, who knows? Anything can happen.
That's what I think. That's the thing is that's why I don't have a lot of confidence. I can't even give him 6. I think it's going to be 5 just because that injury in his shoulder, like he was struggling to handle the ball game, like that one game and shooting and everything. So I don't know if Chris is going to be able to give them enough from a guard spot.
I'm such a big Chris Paul fan. It's just I feel so bad, like, you know. And part of me is like it just happened so much that I'm almost like, what the hell, like. But like, it's still I feel so bad because I'm such a big fan of his. It's like, God, I just want to see him win, bro. That'd be awesome. Yeah. If it was based on like who I want to see win at the beginning of the playoffs, it would have been probably Phoenix or Portland. Obviously, Portland's out, so like I want to see Phoenix, but I don't believe in it, man. I think Denver's just like it's not a good matchup for him.
No.
If they were playing Utah, that would be interesting, you know, like because Gobert is a good defender, but he's not going to score 30. Like he's not going to give you
exactly.
So that would have been crazy, but
yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for it. I'm definitely.
So who does Utah match up with now?
They would play whoever wins this
Mavericks
Clippers and Mavs. Yep, and it's tied right now with 2 minutes left in the first.
Okay. So who, if you're Utah, who would you want?
I feel like I would want the Mavs.
I would too. Yep, I agree.
Because I feel like they match up better with the Mavs, in the sense that like they have the people to throw at, and they have I think better team defense than what the Clippers do. I think the Clippers have like individual good defenders, but I don't know if they have really good team defense. Where I feel like Utah, we know what Utah has, and I don't know if Luka's going to really have those driving lanes like he normally hit because Gobert's just going to be in the paint waiting for those floaters and everything. It's going to be a tough shot to get over him.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. Again, it comes down to the injuries and the lack of experience deep in the playoffs with the Mavs, and really that team goes as Luka goes. So if you can really just D up on Luka and just kind of let the chips fall where they were with the rest of them, like I'd rather have that than Paul George and Kawhi, who are two dudes that like can do it all. They play great D 1 through 4, and they can score on anyone. So that's tough.
And I think that's the thing is that the weak point of the Jazz is their wings. Well, that's the strong point of the Clippers is their wings.
Yep.
We're having PG and Kawhi. They have that. Utah, that's not the best.
I agree.
The best position. So
exactly. It's just an odd playoffs now. I mean, obviously, I
It
think
is.
Brooklyn's gonna win going away, but like it's just so weird. Again, I'm at a point now where I feel like the East is at a series where this is the finals for me. I feel like whoever wins this is then got smooth sailing the rest of the way, and then out west, you're looking at all these young teams that like
Yeah.
right? Like out of nowhere, you
Yeah.
wouldn't have expected Utah and Phoenix to be at the top of the food chain, and then Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
who's lower but still so young. Their best player is so
Mm-hmm.
young. It's weird,
Mm-hmm.
man. It's odd playoffs. I don't know.
And like I said, it's just this emergence of these young stars, Jokic and Doncic and Morant and Book and Donovan Mitchell, and like this emergence of these young guys is fun to see.
It is definitely. It's just
It really
different than
is.
what we've seen in a while, especially now that LeBron's out in the first round. Like that's just we haven't
It's
seen that in so
crazy.
long, right?
Yeah, it's insane because it's like now you like damn now who because you almost like now that LeBron's out and the Lakers are out because I feel like they were kind of like the heavy favorites to kind of come out the West, but now that this out, it's almost like a fucking toss up,
Exactly. You can't really
right? Like people
decide. I
don't know
mean,
like who do you pick?
right, exactly. I mean, that's what's going to be crazy. Like, let's say the Mavericks beat the Clippers tonight. I still wouldn't say like they're just so up in the air because they're so inconsistent at home. But it's like what? Again, it's just a toss up. Even if the Clippers win, I have no idea what's going to go on out there. I would say the Clippers
Right.
would be the favorite, but that's what would make it crazy. If the Mavs win tonight, it's just like what the fuck,
Right?
dude? I don't know what's
you look
happening.
at it. Let's say the Mavs do win, right? There's no team that's like, oh well, we have the most playoff experience.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
There's not one team that can say that.
Not one. No. It would probably be fucking Denver, and like they don't have much.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah,
So-
and I think CP has probably more playoff experience than probably the rest of the
and
Western Conference teams.
he's never even made it to a conference finals.
to a conference finals.
Like so, no one knows. It's such an odd thing, man. I do want to ask you though. Do you think now that LeBron has finally, because the argument forever has been like until he gets dethroned, now that he's lost in the first round, like is it the talk? I think it will. Is the talk now going to be like he's no longer the best player in the world?
Well, I think you and I kind of discussed this. Like, we both agree.
We do.
He's
but
not.
I'm just saying.
He's not.
The talk show host, First Take, Undisputed, that's still the narrative. It's like until he gets dethroned, like, and now that he has, like, I feel like at this point you gotta give it to someone else. Like he's not.
Yeah,
anymore.
I mean, if like it's Kevin Durant, right? Like
I think so too. But it's funny how no one else thinks. I mean, not no one else. Like I think some do, but like people,
you got Durant out there, Embiid, Jokic, Doncic, like these guys, they're all brewing right there. And like,
yeah.
So, but I think KD is that guy right now.
I do too. I think he's going to be the pinnacle for the next like 3 to 5 seasons. I don't see anyone else really. I mean, unless Giannis develops some crazy, dribble off, hand, skills where he can really shoot off the dribble and stuff like that. But I don't see that happening. It's definitely KD. I don't.
Yeah.
Kawhi was there, man. Like up until last season, he won with Toronto, and then you got to remember, like going into last season when he signed with the Clippers, like Kawhi was that dude. Like everyone was like, "Damn!" Like Kawhi, they're now the favorites to win.
Player.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of there. I was like, he's the winning. He had like the winningest percentage, like in all of the league. It's just weird how this year things have changed.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Should the Clippers get out of LA
and go where? Like Seattle,
San Diego?
See, like all that stuff sounds so like because I think that's intriguing. I've heard people say it, but aren't they building a stadium right now?
Who?
I thought the Clippers were building a stadium in LA somewhere else. That's what I thought, but maybe they're not.
They have to. One thing is they have to get out of this. They have to get out the Staples Center.
Yeah, I think they're doing that for sure.
Right, like that. You really don't have a true like home court.
Yeah,
like they could be playing the Lakers and supposedly their home game, and it's more Lakers fans.
It's
there,
the Lakers.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
You need to establish your own with them. But I think they need to get out of LA.
Definitely, I wouldn't argue that at all.
You're never gonna and it's never gonna be a thing in LA where you're gonna be that team in LA.
Yeah.
They need to leave and they need to go to another city. I would stay in California, like I said, and go to San Diego. Um, San Diego has a really good fan base. They had the Chargers, the Padres are out there.
Yep.
I think that's where they need to go to and build a fan base there. Just staying like LA is just that. Don't try to be a place where it's already dominant by one other team. I think
Exactly. Like one of the most historic franchises ever. Like
it doesn't help them.
You're not
That'd
gonna.
be like at the Nets. That'd be like if the Nets were to go and be in like Boston.
Yeah, exactly. That wouldn't exactly. I
Like
totally agree with you,
it wouldn't
man.
make sense. So
I don't know, man. And I think if they lose this year, which like they're not my favorite by any means to win the championship. Like, what happens with Paul George, bro? Like at that point, is it time to move him? Because
no, he's still there. He still has years. Kawhi would be a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. His contract is up.
That's a good point. Like, and what would he do? Because he wants to be home. He wants to be in LA. But like, also, I don't know how much Kawhi prioritizes winning in that sense. Because I know the big rumor, even the year that he was in Toronto, was he's ready to go home. He wants to be in LA.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, what is his mind? Where is his mind at? Is it like, okay, I want to win again, I'm going to go somewhere else? Or is he like, nah, I'm good. I'm cool.
Him, like, I ain't gonna lie, like him and Dame.
Oh my God, man. I think
Dog,
yeah, man. That'd be crazy.
Huh?
What if you traded Paul George over? Yeah, but if you're Portland, you're not doing that.
Paul George for CJ?
Like Dame? Well,
it would have to. There's no way. So trading Dame to the Clippers for Paul George?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
The Trailblazers are not doing that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Dame's their guy.
Yeah, and just the money there wouldn't work. They would have to add in another player.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't see the Trailblazers getting rid of Dame unless he like forced a trade or like I don't know because he signed a deal with them within the last couple seasons.
Yeah, he got that Supermax contract from them where he got like $250. It would, if anything was to happen like that, it would have to be Kawhi going to Portland, on something like that. And now that's
the thing because it's so hard. Like we were just talking about with Kawhi, like he's home. Like Kawhi's the hardest dude to read in the league. Like I have no idea what he wants to do. So that's so hard. I had no idea even that like 2 years ago when it was between Toronto and the two LA teams, there was literally no part of me that had any idea what he was going to do. The dude is so hard to read.
Nobody knew. Like and that's kind of what I like about Kawhi is he's kind of old school in a way where like you don't know.
I like that too. I really do. He's just like no nonsense. Like I'm just here to ball. But I don't know. Like it's so weird. Like I said, how like a season ago he was regarded as like probably the best player in the league, at least top 3, and like he was the favorite to win his 3rd championship on a 3rd franchise. And now like after a year of being like wiped by the Nuggets, like he's off the radar. So I don't know because it personally kind of put that fear out of me of Kawhi. Like I don't look at Kawhi right now and think like the Clippers are the favorites to win at all. So
they just it's what is it? That cloak of invisibility is just kind of like lost his luster, right? Like we can see you.
Yep, exactly. But he's still putting up great numbers. You mentioned it earlier this year too, though. It's weird that like it seems like his defense has been affected. Like his D is not what it used to be because he used to be, in my opinion, hands down the best defender in the league, and now I don't look at him like that at all. So I don't know.
Yeah, something's got to be. They got to get something figured out there, but that we need to bookmark that.
Yeah,
that whole Kawhi thing, because if that situation happens with him and like they figure out something with Portland in the Clippers, we said it here first.
Well, he's a free agent this offseason, right?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
it's player option, I think. So basically, he's a free agent. Yeah,
right.
That will be wild. Again, it just really depends on. I don't know where his head's at with staying in California because that's really where he wanted to be.
Yeah.
Ideally, like you just said, Portland would be awesome, but it's like I don't know if he's ready to move to Portland. Like I have no idea what the dude's thinking. So
yeah, but I think if it's to play with a guy like Dame, where one, he don't have to be in the limelight. He's still gonna be able to get his shots. He can help with the defense. Like them two matching up, I think would just be like, and maybe Dame, like you said, maybe it's Dame going to the Clippers, right? And they maybe send off maybe like Paul George and Reggie Jackson or somebody. Who knows? Who cares? It doesn't matter. But and you get Dame in the LA market.
That would be scary. Yeah, that would be wild, bro. Who knows what would happen there? Like, I just, again, like Stephen A said, like you were saying, I don't, and Portland, I don't think Portland's giving up Dame at all. I think either someone's coming there or like Dame's going to have to do like a Harden where he's just like going to try to force his way out. Because if you're Portland, if I'm Portland, there's no way I'm getting rid of Dame. Like, he's all I got. Like, he's
the reason why people buy tickets.
Exactly. It's, if I'm Portland, it's like, let's move on from CJ. Let's get an athletic wing, like you said, like a Jaylen Brown or a Brandon Ingram, someone like that. It's
they got to figure something out.
They do. It's just sad when you're one of those teams. It's like they're not middle of the road. They're definitely a playoff contender, but like a low playoff contender where it's like they're not going to get like a really high draft pick to really to
help out.
So,
yeah, you're right. I mean,
they
got to get something figured out. They definitely have to get something figured out.
They do. We're gonna have to do some research on like the free agents coming up in the next episode. We'll have to kind of get into like what's gonna happen there. I don't even know what this free agent class really looks like. So
I'm not sure either. We'll have to. Let's make sure that we take that down for a topic for next week.
Definitely. What's the score looking like right now? Is it close?
Mavs are up by 7, and it's like 8 still left in the second quarter.
Man.
So, well, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything to say. That's just they're up 7, but like I've seen both those teams give up big leads. So like it's one of those things like you were saying, every game's close, and like I'm not going like there's no way I can look at either team until like the last couple minutes of the fourth and be like, all right,
exactly, because I mean, a 7-point lead in the NBA ain't shit. Like that can be gone in like a matter of a minute.
Yep.
So I did want to make sure that we talked about this. So the whole Naomi Osaka thing with the French Open. So I don't know if you got the whole news about it. So she won her first match and then she declined to go and meet with the press. She was fined $15,000. And so rather than like continuing to kind of like put herself through that, she completely just withdrew from the tournament. Wow, from the French Open tournament.
Good for her, man.
And really for her, it was about her focusing on like her mental health and everything. So I don't know if you like pay a lot of attention to tennis or to Naomi Osaka, but she is an individual. You can tell and you can see she is super shy. She's introverted. She's just a bit socially awkward a little bit, and she doesn't like the limelight. That's just not her. And she was coming under ridicule because you have these people who are like, well, you're an athlete. Like, this is what you signed up for. This is your job as an athlete to talk to the press, interact with the press, and make sure that you kind of help build up the platform of the sport.
Yeah.
But I think we have to start it, especially with how we look at mental health and stuff like that. Now, I think we have to find a way to kind of be able to marry the two of them. Right. Like she just wants to be a professional tennis player. Right. And I think what we have in today's age with social media, which we didn't have back in like the 90s and stuff like that, is fans can be attracted to the game without having reporters.
Yep. For sure.
Right. You get to know these players because of their social media. You get to interact with them, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is. You get to know them a little bit better compared to back then when we had interaction with like a Michael Jordan or something like that. It was just, that's how we use a journalist, but I don't know if we need as much journalism as we used to.
I'd agree with you, man. That's so sad, man. Honestly, like I look like she seems like, cause I've seen her before. Like she's like, She's that's too bad, man. Like I feel it's a completely different scenario because I was pretty mad at like Kyrie when like earlier this season when like he refused to
Yeah.
talk to the press, right? But like I feel like the intention was different in the sense that Kyrie was like, fuck the media, like I'm doing this on purpose to kind of
Well, he
like
called them peons.
exactly,
Right. So
right.
I mean it was a similar message that he had, but you can't go around like name calling and calling people fucking peons like they ain't shit. Like that's just not cool.
But I don't know if that's the same thing with Naomi. Like I don't know if she's looking at them like necessarily like it's like they're beneath me, like fuck them. I think for her, like you're just saying,
That's
it might just be social anxiety. Like she doesn't like it's more of just
yeah.
like a mental thing for her where it's like I can't like do this, and that's
I mean,
sad,
you look
man.
at the first time she ever won a major championship.
Hmm.
She won it at the U.S. Open in New York, in the championship game against Serena Williams, where
Yep,
everybody was there to see Serena Williams break the record, and she
exactly.
lost. People were booing the girl. She was
Yeah,
dead set crying, winning her championship thing because people were booing her because of the situation that happened during the match.
yeah.
Right, and ever since then, she's kind of had that over her, where like you're denying Serena her record breaking thing, like, and it's like I'm just here to play tennis,
Yeah,
right?
what? So what do you want me to do? Roll over and let her win? Like that's absolutely
Yeah,
ridiculous. Like
but
that's
so it's like she's had to fight that, and the thing is, like, she's coming into her own as a player. She's about to start to hit her physical peak, and
yeah.
like that mental kind of kicking and everything, where she's getting to that. But now, she has this mental aspect that she has to kind of consider. And it was Jamel Hill that was on Mark Lamont's show where she talked about, which I wasn't aware of this, when it comes to like players in golf and tennis compared to like hockey, baseball, football, basketball players, the journalists get to interact with those team sport players a lot more often because they
Hmm.
play more games, their seasons are longer, and they're interacting with them almost on a daily basis, right?
Hmm.
After practice, after warm ups, after games, stuff like that. Well, when it comes to like golf players or tennis players, they really only interact with them at major championships,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
you get one maybe one every 2 to 3 months. You get a major championship, and that's when they interact with them. So they get an onslaught of questions from since the last time that they spoke with them about certain things, and it can be anything from their personal life to like political issues.
Yep. That's a good point, man. I think the best thing for her to do, because I know LeBron did it. I'm pretty sure Kobe did it too. Like she needs to consult probably like a mental health therapist where like she can like there's literally like athletic therapists that like will help train you, as far as like mental strength goes to deal specifically with that kind of spotlight and stuff like that. And I know for a fact LeBron did it, especially after his year in Dallas. And I'm pretty sure Kobe did the same thing. And I think maybe she would benefit a lot from that because she loves the game a lot. And like that is too bad that
Mm-hmm.
like something like that is going to deprive her of possibly winning another major that she has to withdraw because she's so, anxious or
Right.
whatever the situation is. That's sad, man. That just makes me
It
sad.
is. And the thing is, it's like you look at these majors and it's like, so would you rather have her there and just her just not, interacting with the press as much, or would you have her not there? Like
Hmm.
people pay to go to see her. She's a number 2 ranked player in the West End. She probably has one of the larger followings
Yep.
as far as tennis players goes, maybe outside of Serena Williams.
Yep.
And now she's not
Exactly.
there, not because she lost, but because she just can't deal with the press and the fact that she may get suspended from the West End because she don't want to interact with the press, or she's going to get
Hmm.
fined again because she doesn't want to interact with the press because she has social anxiety with it.
That's a
Like
good
there,
point. Like you said, they got to find a way to marry it where it's like, because that's a completely different thing than just being an asshole and being like, fuck the press. I don't want to do
right,
this. Fuck off. Like, that's just like an actual mental health. I mean, I don't want to say breakdown, but like, just, she's aware. She's a very smart woman that like, I can't deal with this right now. Like, that's not like, I just can't, that's really sad, man. That's, I hope that in the future that there'll be a way, like you said, to kind of figure that out and find a happy medium because that's a complete different thing than just like completely, what's the word, neglecting like your contractual obligation to speak to the press.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's wild.
It is.
I think we'll see her come back stronger though. Like I just said, like I think hopefully she'll be able to figure out something, whether it's practice through therapy or whatever it is to, because I would like to think that there, or not like to think, but like realistically speaking, I would think that they're going to continue to make those contractual press obligations. So she's just going to have to find a way to get past that. And I think she will. I do. And she's a phenomenal tennis player, man. Like after that, after beating Serena Williams, that's kind of what put her on the map for me because I don't watch tennis regularly, but I was like, whoa. And she's so young.
Yeah, so she's only like 23.
Can you? I mean, that's so young to have all that spotlight on you. I can't even imagine. And it's like that in every sport.
And just being socially awkward, bro. Like she literally is. You can tell she's socially awkward. It just is what it is. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that athletes don't play a sport and everything. A lot of them don't play a sport to be famous. They play the sport because they love it.
They love the game. Yep.
Right. Exactly. And they understand that press kind of comes with it, but they don't want to interact with the press. They don't want to have to do that. They want to just be able to play the sport that they love. You know what I mean? And I understand it's like, well, you got to give it to the fans and everything. That's how they get paid. But she just wants to go and play.
Definitely. I agree with you, man. There's got to be a way that maybe we can figure out.
They can, they got to figure it out. All right. Last thing.
Yep.
Floyd or Logan.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that. Is that tomorrow? Holy shit,
Sunday. I think it's Sunday, right?
Hey,
it's
man.
On the 6th.
Listen, dude. I don't know. And that sounds so good. And maybe that sounds surprising to you, but I really have no idea. Like, just the size and the age different. Like, I look at that and I'm like, I don't know why the fuck Floyd. I mean, maybe he'll get $100 million or like $100 million payday or whatever. But, like, is it worth it to Floyd, regardless of if it's going to actually go on his pro boxing record, which it isn't, to be potentially knocked out in the public eye, like, or beat, like, and I'm not saying he will be, but like, how much money do you need, Floyd? I don't know. It's crazy to me, bro.
Did you see the rules?
It's like 8 rounds. I saw 8 rounds. Obviously 3-minute rounds. I saw they just dropped the gloves back down to 10 ounces. Was there something else that I'm not seeing?
There's no judges.
Yeah, I saw that.
Knockdowns, but knockdowns will count. And it's like, so it's kind of like there's no.
It is not going to be. It's going to generate so much money, though, bro. Like, I mean, I'll give them both that. Like, it's gonna, and like in Logan, I honestly don't look at it all like in a negative way. Like, Logan has nothing to lose at all. If he loses, he lose. Like, it's like, what does anyone expect Logan Paul to fucking like? But
no, and I think bank.
Logan knows even if he gets knocked out, it's gonna be from him getting tired out and Floyd just popping him, right? It's not like Floyd's about to wind up in Deontay Wilder's ass and, like, cold cock his ass and like, knock him down. Like, I don't think he's going to seriously get injured. There's literally no part of this that's like a negative for Logan Paul. So I understand that completely on his side. Man, it's crazy. And if it was Jake Paul or someone smaller, I'd be like Floyd all the way. But just sheer size and strength difference.
That's a big
really,
dude.
Yeah.
That's a big dude. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And then, so what they just announced that Jake is supposed to be fighting Tyrone Woodley.
Yeah. I mean, Tyrone's more of a striker, so that makes it more interesting. They're smart dudes, man. Jake and Logan, like they're doing like as much as like Jake pisses me off. I kind of like Logan, even when I hear Logan talk. Like I just respect him. He's not fucking crazy and all over the place like Jake. Jake really gets under my skin, but like this is a step up for sure. Ben Askren. It was a wrestler. He came into that fight looking like absolute dog shit, bro. Tyrone Woodley's a fucking athlete and he's a striker. So it's more interesting. It's just, I'm not going to pay for it. And if he beats him, that's impressive. That's impressive if he beats him.
It is.
It's going to come back to the same thing for me. If he beats him, it's like, okay, you're going to box someone now? Like, I don't know. Like what, like,
Well, the thing about it with Jake is, and it's annoying, but he's so fucking good he's so good at being an antagonist.
Yeah, exactly.
He's so good at being an antagonist, right? Yeah. Like the reason why people want to tune in is because they want to see somebody shut him up.
Yep.
Right, like you want to see his like okay, finally somebody done did it, right?
Yep.
Right. That's almost kind of like with Floyd. Like people really at some point wanted to see somebody shut Floyd, and they just couldn't do it because he was too damn good.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know what? I because Logan Paul was on First Take like a week or two ago, and he made a really good point, and like it made me think, bro. And he kind of checked me and put me in my place because like he goes, "You ever notice when pro boxers fight their first couple fights, it's literally tomato cans and bull." And I'm like, that's not a bad argument for Jake, bro. Like he's not wrong there. Like usually
these
fighters in the beginning, promoters, like if they think they've got like a guy that could potentially be a champion, they put them up their first 5-10 fights against absolute journeymen who have negative records, like that are like, you know, working other jobs, and they're just journeyman fighters. They're absolute bullshit fighters. So it's like even the greatest, fucking Floyd, Tyson, they all fought absolute scrubs their first like 5-10 fights to really build them up. So when he said that, I was like, you know, that's actually a pretty decent point, and it really made me think about it. Like
it's a good point, but at least these guys have some type of boxing background.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
The people that he fought are athletes, but they don't have a boxing background, and that's what I think is the difference in all of that, right? Like, granted, you're fighting guys, like you said, you're fighting, you know, scrubs, journeymen, losing records and stuff like that, but these guys have had some boxing matches on
exactly, yeah,
and that's what I think is the big difference.
You can't prep for that timing and that, you know, the movement around the ring that, like, you know, it's just, it comes with experience. So I don't know that this is a step up from Ben Askren. Like, I guess that's all I can really say.
It's a big step up too. It's not like it's a big step up.
Yeah,
like Tyrone Woodley. I mean, granted, he don't lost his last 4 fights or whatever. But
yeah, but he's so much more of an athlete than Ben Askren. Like, this is how I look at it. Nate Robinson's a phenomenal athlete, had no fighting skill. Ben Askren's a horrible athlete, but he had, you know, wrestling background. Tyrone Woodley is a great athlete, and he's, you know, a great striker and has a lot of fighting background. So this is definitely Jake Paul's toughest test. So it'll be interesting.
For sure.
Yeah.